President's Cup has just concluded, won by Western Suburbs, 15-14 over St George, and what a terrific game of football it was. The ground is absolute picture, and the day is an absolute picture for this grand final day. All right, to call all the action, the reserve grade decider between the Bears and the Tigers. Let's join now Paul Borton, Tony Ray and Peter Sterling.
Thanks very much, Ken. Just awaiting for the North Sydney side and the Balmain sides to come out, and here come the big bad Grizzlies.
The North Sydney Bears.
Gary Smith, former Queensland State of Origin player, leading them out.
Coach of the side, Peter
They must be confident, Tony.
As I mentioned previous to the game, we've been waiting for this game for quite some time now. They are a confident side. I think they have the ability to go on with the job. Up against the Balmain side with plenty of potential. Both sides like to play the game wide.
Please welcome the Balmain Tigers.
And here come the Tigers. The veteran David Brooks leads them out for his last game in the Sydney Rugby League competition. He's been at Balmain since about 1980 or 81. Played State of Origin himself in about 1983. And he's led out the Balmain side. They are ranked underdogs in this side, in this game. They ran 5th in the competition. The only side I can remember to win from 5th spot was Canberra in first grade back in 1989. Here's the north side. Conlon the fullback. The wingers are Makepeace and Egan. Centres Bartlett, Caruana. 5'8" is Solomon. Austin's the halfback. Lock forward Wilson. Chisholm and Smith in the second row. Front row is Alexander and Mathau. And the hooker is Alan Wilson. David Brooks, the Balmain captain. And their side is Thorson, fullback. Wingers are Totoka and Phillips. McCann and Grant in the centres. Baysari's the 5'8". John Mulverhill's the half. Lock forward Matt Parrish. Stapleton and Brooks in the second row. McVeigh and Kirkwood the front rowers. And the hooker, Michael Brown. The referee is Graham Annesley. He's been in good form too, Annesley, over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Make sure the players are all on side and ready for the kickoff. And the ball's off the mound. A few more nerves settling for the players. Dawson gets it underway. The 1992 Reserve Grade Grand Final. And it's North Sydney to bring it back through Wayne Chisholm. Nice tackle there. He's now 15 metres out from his own line. Settling tactics early in the match, just running from dummy half until both sides get their act together. The ball's coming out now through Mathau, who makes a good run, but forced back. Good defence there by the Tigers. Another run from dummy half. That's good ground. He's gone through. Alan Wilson, the former Cronulla player. Good run by him. A good 20-metre gain. And not good there by Balmain early in the match as Austin puts the kick down. Taken well by Thorson, brings the ball back, but good defence there by the North Sydney side. Egan involved in that tackle. Balmain now thrusting it up. I know that Annesley looks for penalties early in the match. We want to keep these sides back a good 5-10 metres. Brooks is hit hard and driven backwards by the North Sydney defence. He'll play it back through Brown to McVeigh. McVeigh charges in, but that's a good high tackle there by Mathau. Kirkwood hits one up. They're advanced into the North Sydney half now. They're 42 metres out on the 5th tackle. Baysari puts one down across the field. Egan's got it covered. He lets it bounce. Bounces off his hands. He's in his in-goal area, but he gets out nicely. Good Balmain defence there.
Fairly steady start from both sides. Plenty of big hits and defence from the forwards, charging forward. Nice kicking game from both sides as well.
Now out it goes through the dummy half, takes one up. It's Makepeace at marker. Wilson now takes over. And the North Sydney forwards doing their job well, getting over that advantage line. Now it's Gary Smith. Runs hard and straight. 3 Balmain players there to bring him down. It's gone back, an alternate kicker now in Conlon. He puts boot to ball straight down. Thornton's up. Thorsen's neck. And he took it well. Phillips now, former Illawarra player with the Balmain side. He'll take one up right in the halfway line. No penalties in the match yet. And Balmain content to ruck it up, hit down the left-hand side. They've got a good back line set out to the right. And the ball goes there now. No, Brown runs from dummy half crossfield, looking for runners, but no runners there.
A little bit confused on that occasion, Paul. Matt Parrish appeared to be standing at first receiver, looking to spread the ball wide, which they do on this occasion. And Brown didn't. Then he pointed to the left. And Brown just simply, like a good hooker should do, carted the ball forward to settle the situation down.
Well, there was a poor kick on the 5th tackle there by the Balmain side, and that's given North Sydney possession about 25 metres out from their own line. And they'll send it out now. Oh, good hit there, but it missed by McVeigh, just going too high on the North Sydney player. And it's Kelly Egan who'll play the ball. That's a Mathau. He's been a willing worker early in this match. Made some good metres. Chisholm now. Takes one up. And North Sydney content at this stage just to use their kicking game. There's a good run here by Craig Wilson. And the ball's gone loose. And as he sees a knock on there, there'll be a scrum. First scrum of the match. And it should be a Balmain feed. Good chance for Balmain in the first 5 minutes of this match. Tony, they're inside the North's half and 40 metres out.
That's the first mistake we've seen, Paul. Fortunately for them, they were able to cover it up. David Brooks dived on the ball for Balmain, but himself spilled it. This is a crucial set of 6. I mentioned they were very edgy before the game, North, and we're a bit worried about how they will start the game. It's been tidy so far. That was the first mistake. Will they handle it?
They can now. Met and driven hard into the ground by Mathau and Solomon. Brown runs across field, looks for runners, but that's good defence by the Bears. Looks at dummy half, out to Parrish, through the hands, out to Baysari. Right foot step. He's got into some space, looking inside, back to Mulder Hill. Good play by the Balmain Tigers. They're into the quarter. Through Parrish again. Nice cut-out ball, but went to ground. I think it went to the wrong man there.
Well, that was an opportunity gone begging for the Tigers. Quite clever play from Matt Parrish. I thought the cut-out ball was the right option. It just had to hit the man outside there, and the fullback Thorsen, who'd ended the line. It was a 2-on-1 situation. Unfortunately for the Tigers, they weren't able to make the most of that opportunity.
So it's Austin from the back of the scrum. Which makes 4 or 5 valuable metres. North's forwards getting onside now, getting around the ruck. Smith. Balmain defence is there. Cut out pass. Alexander, being signed by Manly for next year. Tony, is that right?
That is correct. He'll be going over to Manly. They've got a very consistent footballer in Dave Alexander. You see a good kick go downfield, but also one of the real gentlemen of rugby league.
Dawson slipped over there at the North's chasing game. Very good early in the game. Every kick they put down, the chasers have been there. Very important aspect of the game. As Tuhutoka picks one up around the right-hand side of the field. And Brown finds yards up the middle. The North Sydney marker defence was a bit lackadaisical there. There was a loose pass in that ruck. Annesley's missed it. McVeigh now down the blind side. Beats 1 and 2. And Balmain looking pretty good in the early stages of this match. Through the hands again, out to McCann. He's looking around for support. The North Sydney, the Bears are there. They put him down on the deck. And this ball will be played 40 metres out. Parrish for the kick. Into the North's quarter.
Conlon will pick it up, and we'll look for a big fend from Conlon as he comes out of here. James Grant on.
Oh, you've called it. Genius. You're a genius. He's beaten 3 or 4 of them there. The big fend got him. And it's Egan from dummy half. He's now looking for room up the middle. There's none there. So through the hands now. Makepeace out wide. This is Gary Smith. Done a ton of work early. But even at this early stage, they're just still content to... There's a bad pass, but the first penalty of the match, it's gone against Balmain for being inside, or it's gone against the markers for not standing square on.
Touch very lucky actually there, Alan Wilson. It was quite a careless ball there. Would have been a knock on, fortunately for the Bears. As we see him coming out of dummy half there, he shaped a kick, panicked a little, tried to sneak it out. It did go forward. The Tigers were offside and North come up with a penalty.
So it's Egan to put the ball into touch. Finds about 8 metres. And now North will have this tap kick 42 metres out from the Balmain line. Now how to play the ball. Through Wilson, out through Austin. Looks for a hole, but McVeigh comes over the top, puts him down. 32 metres out now. Goes through Smith. Sets back inside. There's nowhere to go. Runner in on Wilson. Dummies and goes himself. But running out of room down that blind side. This is Austin now. They're looking for holes up the middle there. There's none there at this stage. The Balmain defence has been pretty good as Parrish rides Austin into the ground. This is Solomon. Puts up the high kick. Put in defence there. And, look at this. Bartlett came through at 1,000,000 miles an hour and took it. Great play by Bartlett. Looked like a chance for the North Sydney side. And now a penalty goes against North Sydney. Bartlett wouldn't release the ball, threw it away in the end, and a penalty to the Balmain side.
Would have been fairly handy to keep the Balmain Tigers right on the line there. Unfortunately for Bartlett, he did the good work in chasing the kick. He came up with a silly error. I think he's got the Tigers off the hook a little bit there.
And Balmain now, 32 metres out, rucking it out from their own line. Take it away, Sterlo.
Well, nothing in this game in the first 10 minutes. And, of course, North Sydney, they've got a lot to live up to. They are the best performed team in any grade, only losing 2 games all year. These sides did meet twice throughout the regular season. A fairly comfortable win to North Sydney in the first game, a 16-all draw at Leichhardt Oval in the last competition game. And the Balmain side have come from 5th spot. They started quite well out there. North Sydney now trying to ruck the ball out of their own 30-metre line. Makepeace getting involved from the blind wing. Mathau makes it to the 40-metre line, centre field. No mistakes made here as North Sydney look to keep it alive, but the Balmain swarming defence has been very effective. Unbelievable piece of play there from George Bartlett to catch that football unattended in front of the post. And again, unusual to see Bartlett playing in the centres, normally a back rower. On the last tackle for the North Sydney team as Noel Solomon drives it down left-footed. Stopped by Thorson on the boot. Absolutely nothing in this game. Going back and forward. 0-all. And very few breaks. Matt Parrish beat 1 or 2 defenders there. And now Balmain looking to get some momentum going up the middle of the ruck here. Tuatoka beats 2 defenders. He can score a try, this big winger. We saw him score a double only a couple of weeks ago. McVeigh. Tony, good swarming defence from both teams. We've seen 11 minutes of play now and no real break has been made.
A real traditional style grand final opening, this one. Both forward packs trying to assert their authority. They appear to be playing exactly to the coach's plans. Keep it tight early, gain the momentum, and go from there.
Well, an attempted intercept there from Chris Caruana, the centre for North Sydney. Balmain appeared to have an overlap. Caruana knocked the ball down, so Mulvihill will feed the scrum. 8 metres inside North Sydney's territory. Beautiful afternoon here at the Sydney Football Stadium. I've just been down close to the field, very warm down there. As Balmain win the scrum, and Baysari takes the tackle.
Peter, you mentioned the heat. Of course, reserve grade is traditionally played at 1:30 during the competition rounds. On grand final day, it comes forward an hour. So the midday heat does come into effect. And the players have mentioned during the semi-final series that they were affected by the warmer conditions.
Well, Balmain on the attack. They go to the back line. McCann, Parrish, McVeigh standing very wide. Throws it. Well, that's a bad pass. Just trying too much there. And at the moment, 0-all in the reserve grade grand final between North Sydney and Balmain after 12 minutes. Very little between the teams in this opening 13 minutes of play. Penalty awarded again to the North Sydney team, and Kelly Egan comes from the right wing to find touch. Should do so about 40 metres out, just inside 40 metres from the Balmain's line. North Sydney now looking to get into the 22 for probably the first or second time in the game. We saw the bomb go up early, taken by Bartlett, but that's really been the only attacking move we've seen early. Gary Smith, as Paul Borton pointed out, has done a mountain of work in the opening stanza. Taking the ball to centre field now. Austin, the second man to Solomon. He's a key player. Good ball there to Bartlett, but some great defence front on. That was McCann. And Bartlett gets to play the ball. Austin, another good ball to Alexander. Straight through. Can he find support? He can't. That's 4 tackles. A big blindside set up here. A lot of players. To Solomon. Ducks underneath. He'll score. Has he got the ball down? Yes, he has. It is awarded. Annesley awards a try. And some sustained pressure there from North Sydney. Noel Solomon, he is a key player. Up goes the high five. And Tony Ray, North Sydney, well, they worked away there. A couple of good balls from Austin set this up, and finally Solomon ducks underneath.
Yeah, great play from Noel Solomon. He is a ball player, a player we will see a lot more of in this game. He'll have an impact. On that occasion, he elected to run the ball himself, ducked nicely and charged for the line and came up with the points. It was good work from Dave Alexander in the lead up to this. He broke through after a nice pass from Austin. We see Matt Parrish and David Brooks just missing a couple of tackles there as Noel Solomon sneaks under, and the first points go to North Sydney.
Well, Austin did very well in the 2 preceding plays. He put a couple of guys through holes. In Alexander, it looked like he'd score, tried to get his arms free, but there was no support. And there's the try scorer. Noel Solomon took advantage of that good early work. Scored about 15 metres, 20 metres to the side of the posts. And Craig Makepeace will attempt this conversion attempt. 4 points to 0 after 15 minutes. And there's some dispirited Balmain players. They had some good opportunities early on. David Brooks, plenty to say. Plenty of experience out there. And he'll be saying to his guys, let's start again.
It's been a very good semi-final campaign from the Tigers on a number of occasions. They have been down on the scoreboard, picked themselves up as they walk the tightrope towards today's grand final.
Well, they've done a marvellous job to come from 5th spot. They're behind on the scoreboard now. Let's make peace. Lines it up, moves in. Not a big run up, he's hit it beautifully. The touch judges hardly moved. Try converted. 6 points to 0 in favour of North Sydney over Balmain in the 1992 Reserve Grade Grand Final. There's some breathing space for the North Sydney side. Noel Solomon scoring the try. 6 points to 0. Nice conversion attempt from Craig Makepeace. After 16 minutes, the Bears are in front. And Solomon really is a player of the future, a young player, had a marvellous season. I think there's a couple of players who qualify in that out there. Michael Brown, the young hooker, very much a Ben Elias lookalike for the Balmain side. You see he's just re-signed with the Tigers. Content to wait for his spot behind Elias. But Solomon gets the first try, and he's been a class act for the Bears throughout the year, Tony.
He has Solomon, and potentially he'll be in first grade next year.
Well, I thought that was a knock-on. I thought he got his hand to it, Thorson. It eventually came off his boot. But Annesley has ruled that wasn't the case. Let's see here. Well, no, he's picked it up. I think that was after he'd kicked the football. I still think he got his hand to the ball, so they were a little bit lucky there, Balmain. They take advantage of that luck. Driving it forward. 40 metres out. Continue up the blind side. McVeigh. He's got a man outside. Yes, he pops a good ball. Some good cover defence there by Makepeace, the winger. And some good work from McVeigh once again. We saw him throw one earlier. Didn't find the mark. That one did.
He's looked dangerous on a couple of occasions now, McVeigh. Gets the big left arm free.
And Alan Wilson did well to come up with that loose ball. Another mistake made. Before Conlon comes in. He's hurt. Right on the halfway line. Very slow play the ball. North continue up the blind side of the ruck. Craig Wilson. And backwards. Egan goes to dummy half. Mathau takes the ball forward. Met front on. Great tackle, David Brooks. Drove him back. North Sydney with a back line set. Austin. Through to Solomon. Through the dummy. Half step through. Well, he has gone through. He's got support on the outside. Did very well. That was Alexander. And a quick play the ball on the last tackle. Will they run it? They do, off the boot. Bartlett in chase. Parrish is trying to get this one. Bartlett scores. No, he's bounced the ball, unbelievable. And a real let-off there for Matt Parrish.
Sensational stuff from George Bartlett. Twice now he's chased kicks and twice he's nearly come up with a try. Just couldn't handle that one. Matt Parrish almost asleep then.
Well, he did go to sleep, but eventually got his hand there at a crucial time, and that's a good decision. Bartlett nowhere near getting the ball down. But Chief, we talk about experience, and that was a distinct lack of intensity there from Matt Parrish.
He was very lucky, Peter, to have the fullback in Thorson standing just beside him. In the replay, you could see him shouting at Parrish, just letting him know that Bartlett was coming. A little bit of urgency that created saved a try.
Well, North Sydney have been in the opposition's 22 on 3 occasions. They've scored a try through Solomon. They've put a kick up, and Bartlett has come through and plucked that one out of the air, and they've nearly got a touchdown there from the grubber kick. So they have shown some danger when they get in that 22 as Baysari pushes off a couple of defenders on the last tackle. Brown into dummy half. Ball goes to Mulverhill. He'll go high. Well, it's a pretty ordinary kick straight across to Kelly Egan's wing. Finds touch, but that's not what he was looking for.
A better kick there would have been to maybe drop it in goal and put the bomb a little bit higher for the winger. Phillips chasing down on the open side.
And there we see the time in possession favouring North Sydney. They have looked very dangerous. Almost certain that kick was meant to be a bomb, but it just came off the side of the boot. No pressure at all on Kelly Egan. In fact, he was allowed to let the ball bounce over the sideline as Austin feeds. The man I was talking about, Egan, comes in. Very tall winger. Played a lot of centre in first grade for North Sydney a couple of seasons ago. And here's the other centre, Bartlett, getting involved. Wilson to dummy half. Gary Smith. Little captain's knock early from Smith, the former Queenslander. Centre field, 4th tackle. Mathau. David Brooks low, Mulverhill high on the last tackle. Back to Austin. No real pressure coming through. Gets that left-footed kick down, driven deep into the corner. That's a good kick. Won't find touch. But North Sydney will chase well. They'll probably allow Thorson to play the ball reasonably quickly because it's taken a long time for the Balmain players to get back. James Grant picks up Parrish. They only made 2 metres. So very impressive, North Sydney. Good kicking game, a good chasing game. Paul Borton, they've got their nose in front. They're doing it in style out there at the moment, looking very dangerous when they get in the opposition's territory. A high tackle there. Presented there by McVeigh. And Mathau was the player who did go high. About to be spoken to. So some aggression coming out as well.
Yeah, they're doing it well, North Sydney, the Bears. Gone in odds-on favourites for this match. Leading 6-0, Annesley's gone off. Having a go at McVeigh there, telling him to get out of it. The penalty's gone to Balmain's way. Well, it's not too bad, that tackle. It's got him around the shoulder pads. McVeigh resented the tackle, threw a couple of curly ones. Well, it got him around the shoulder pads, around the neck, really.
That's not the style of football that Mathau is known for, so it would have been a mistake. He's not a cheap shotter. He's a guy who asked a lot of questions.
And now Balmain, just trying to get their act together here. They make this better running from the Tigers. Now at the 30-metre zone. And it's Stapleton, driven to the ground by Smith. Brown through the Mulverhill. Down the blind side they go through McVeigh. They seem to be using him quite a deal. A lot of first-grade experience. Scored a couple of great tries for Balmain during the year. A couple of 50-metre jobs. Out through Parrish now. But that's good defence there. And the ball's been knocked down by North Sydney. And it's a penalty to Balmain for ripping the ball out in the tackle.
Well, what more do you do in that situation, Paul?
Well, I thought he was trying to offload the pass and the North player got his hand involved in the tackle. That's simple as that. Well, there the ball was, well, in actual fact, he did reef it out, but that's not good ball security there by Parrish. The game is all about security, and he just left that ball out there hanging in the breeze. And as it's turned out, now a penalty to the Tigers, and they'll have a shot for goal. Try and get some first points on the board for them. And they'll do it through their skipper, David Brooks. Big reputation as a goal kicker, David Brooks, when he came down from Tamworth many years ago. Kicked in for Balmain first grade for many years.
He's had a very impressive start to the game, Paul. A couple of big hits. He's the captain of the side, one of the more experienced guys. One of the guys that the team will look to in tight situations.
So in he comes. He's 31 metres out, nearly directly in front of the post. D. Brooks hits it. Looks okay from here. That's a goal. So the scoreline, North Sydney 6, Balmain 2. So North 6 now, Balmain 2, 24th minute of the first half in the 1992 Reserve Grade Grand Final. And that ball's gone loose through Phillips, and North Sydney now, a chance for them 23 metres out. Will they look at quick hands, or they've gone down the blind side through Conlon? Couldn't get the fend going there. And James Grant brings him down.
Paul, in this situation, they'll be taking a couple in and looking for what they call a short play. A little set move. That's the first one. This will be the second.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Through Smith, a short ball out to Alexander. He's dragged down by Brooks and McVeigh. Well, that was a terrible mistake there at the dummy half area by Alan Wilson. Trying to scoot out from dummy half. Wasn't the best play of the ball in the world, and now Balmain, bit of work to do in their own 10-metre area, and it's McCann who brings one up. Chisholm over the top. Brown from dummy half, runs into the backside of McCann and goes down. Mulvihill out through Stapleton.
There's been a fairly important replacement made in the North Sydney side. Matthew Toshek from Tamworth has come onto the field in place of Craig Wilson, the lock forward. Important in the sense that North Sydney have two chief playmakers, Noel Solomon, the 5'8", the lock, and Craig Wilson. They've lost one of those, so a lot of the responsibility for setting up the attack for the Bears will come now onto the shoulders of Solomon.
Yeah, he's going pretty well too, Craig Wilson. Limped off with looked like an ankle injury, and there he is on the bench. It's actually a knee injury. I'd like to find out if he can come back during the match, because he's a fine player. Now North Sydney on the attack, into the Balmain half, through Smith. Steps off his right foot, brought down. Tony Hearn on the interchange bench. Ready to come on through Austin. They do a run around. It's come out wide. Now there's plenty of space out here on the left. As Bartlett runs, picks up Alexander, back to Bartlett, looking for holes. There's one there. Now support comes through Solomon. North Sydney now. Austin puts the grubber in. It's come off a Balmain player. This will be play on. Picked up here by Austin once again. Fifth tackle. And Annesley rules. That's the last. There's a bit of a Barney on down and back play. 30 metres behind there. Annesley's looking now.
The two players involved were Matt Parrish and Noel Solomon. The Balmain side Thorson running away. They think play's going on downfield. Of course, Annesley's 20 metres away and not concerned at all by that.
And the touch judges are all on there, and the touch judge is actually calling back Mathau, who was looking for a rest, going off on the interchange bench for Hearn, but he's one of the culprits, and he's been hooked straight back on the field.
Trying to sneak off there, a little bit clever, Jamie.
Just look, there's the back play there. You can see a couple of blokes going at it, and the play went on. Annesley missed it all, but the touch judges haven't, and a few lectures being handed out. That's okay, it's a grand final. The boys are excited.
Well, plenty of old-timers at home. Very happy to see that going on. We saw it in the under 21. Fisticuffs flying. Now again in the Reserve Grade Final.
Well, luckily, Graham Annesley is one of the most experienced referees in the game, and he sorted this out fairly quickly, and the penalty has gone Balmain's way. There's the tackle there by Solomon. A few hands on the tackle. Obviously some resentment there. But Balmain get the penalty, and now they put this ball into touch. 4-2, they lead the penalties. And they're inside the North Sydney half. Comes out through Baysari. Under Kirkwood. Slow play the balls here by Balmain. Not doing their cause much good. Put on a run around down the blind side. There's some good hands here, and not a bad move there by the Tigers. Here's Brooks now. This North Sydney defence is very, very good.
It's had to be, Paul, the Tigers. There's creativity there, moving the ball wide, then charging forward, then moving it wide again. Certainly moving the North Sydney defence around.
This is a chance now for the Tigers. Throws through Mulvihill. Nice cut out pass to McCann. Back to Mulvihill. Runs around. A good tackle there by Bartlett. Brings him down. Fifth tackle. What will the Tigers do? Baysari. He'll put one up in the air. Sydney, that side. Brilliant take by Conlon, who actually dropped it in the end. But a penalty to North Sydney is gone. One of the North Sydney players is taken out of the play.
I think you'll also find the guy under the number 20 for the Tigers, John Mulverhill, was a mile offside and right in front of Graham Ennisley, so he was never going to get away with that.
Relieving penalty for the Bears, and it's Egan who puts the ball into touch and then has got to chase his own kick. That's the furthest he's run all day. And now North Sydney on the attack through Hearn. Had a lot of first-grade experience this year, Tony Hearn.
Played very well in first grade, and in fact was selected this week in the Norwich Rising Star Award team. So he's been noted by the powers that be in the league as one of the young players with more potential.
Alexander now causing Balmain a bit of drama out wide. Whenever he runs the ball, he's making good ground. This time looking for a quick play the ball. Held down by two players there, Brown and Brooks. And the penalty to North Sydney. This is only giving North Sydney more ball. And the more ball they get, obviously, the better they'll go.
This is going to be an interesting set of six for North. We saw the set plays do work effectively for them. There's 4 minutes to go in this first half. Maybe looking for something special, just a little bit of a nail in the coffin of the Tigers in the lead up to the half-time break.
So now North's only 10 metres out from the Balmain line. Another chance for them to score, Peter.
Well, they're looking to work in the same kind of play as we saw last time as Derek McVeigh leaves the field. Unfortunately, that time Alan Wilson came up with a mistake. Quick hands. Will Egan get it down in the corner? Well, he's done very well if he has. It looked like he had to be taken over the sideline. Quick hands outside. That's a try and a marvellous effort from Kelly Egan. How he got that down, I'll never know, but some marvellous work from the North Sydney team. A tremendous pass, quick hands pass, found the winger. Here we see Austin. The wide ball out to, is it Conlon? A great ball to Egan. A good show of strength. Yes, no doubt at all. And he's a good meter inside. That's a great try. Absolute great try. Good show of strength, and it didn't look to be on when those couple of passes were thrown inside. 10-2.
Great work from Kelly Egan. He came up with a double last week. Here we see beautiful body movements. Too big and too strong for James Grant. Ian McCann comes in too late. Gets the big one-hander down and slam dunks are in for 4 points. And we mentioned the importance of that try in the lead up to half-time. Now puts them 8 points clear.
Kelly Egan, the winger, he's played quite well out there this afternoon, but that was a marvellous pass from Paul Conlon, chiming in out wide in the back line. He almost caught the ball and threw it in the one motion. And Egan was there, went straight through James Grant. McCann arrived just that touch late. Really tough conversion attempt from Craig Makepeace. There you see it there.
Peter, you'll note that Makepeace sets the ball right. He knows that he has got a hook on his kick. He'll set the ball right and hope to bring it around. Let's see how he goes with it.
A bit like you with your golf swing, Tony. I've noticed him aim 50 metres to the right. And he does lean the ball forward, as the kickers like to do these days. They say it gives him the biggest sweet spot to hit, a la Matthew Ridge. Makepeace looks to convert. He's hit it very nice. I don't know if he's got the distance. Yes, he has. It just drops over. Great kick. North Sydney 12, leading Balmain 2 after 32. Well, that's a marvellous kick there from Craig Makepeace. 2 from 2, 100%.
They call him Rowdy, Peter. He's a very quiet sort of a bloke, but he's making some noise out there now, shouting, encouraging the guys. Plenty of enthusiasm from the youngster. He's an Australian schoolboy this time last year. Had a couple of runs in first grade when Darryl Halligan was away with the Kiwis on test duty. He did a great job for the first grade side as well in 92.
Well, he's got every right to make some noise out there. It was a great conversion attempt, and they're the kind of points that you don't expect to score. When you score wide out, you think it's going to be 4 points, and when they can convert one from a metre in from touch, it really does give the side a lift. It's an extra 2 points that they probably weren't expecting. As Bartlett, he's had a very good game out there from the centres. George Bartlett getting involved. In fact, it's been a good battle from all the inside backs. McCann, James Grant in the centres. They've played a lot of first grade between them. And Caruana, who played first grade this year for North Sydney and is one of the good young players coming through. Bartlett in that uncustomary position for most of his career really has made sure he's got involved and pretty much come in like an extra forward. As Thorson takes the ball on the bounce. And a good chase from North. Goes forward, tries to bump off Gary Smith, but he hangs on as Tuatoka comes in. Centre field. 25 metres out. Brown trying to get things moving. Picks up Stapleton. No real support there from the Balmain side. They're just starting to look a little bit tired as we go into the final minute of the first half. 12 points to 2. 10 the different. That's a fair margin against a side that really has played well all year. As I said earlier, only lost 2 matches. Had a couple of draws. It's number 40 for Balmain is Steve Finale. Mulvihill drives the ball low. In behind Makepeace. Comes back, takes it on the bounce. James Grant leads the charge down and comes up with the tackle. Mulvihill over the top. Won't be trying anything here, North Sydney. Some dummy half runs. 25 seconds left on the clock. No mistakes, no passes to be thrown. They'll go in with a 10-point lead at half-time. 12-2. It's been a good performance. Nothing in this game for the first 10 or 15 minutes, but Norths have got on top. As they get another set of 6 here, they won't get the chance to play it out. Balmain trying to rake the ball. Ineffective, and North Sydney, they played some smart football here in the latter part of this first half as the siren goes. And North Sydney, well, they've got a good break here on Balmain at half-time in the Reserve Grade Grand Final. 12 points to 2, another second half coming up. North Sydney looking to confirm their minor premiership. And on what we've seen in the first stanza here, well on the way of doing so. 12-2 North Sydney.
A little bit of consultation of the crystal ball, and you don't need too much consultation of the crystal ball to find out the half-time score here, 12-2 in front of North Sydney, Paul Borton, and they look very, very strong.
Yeah, they're playing very well. They certainly came good in the last 20 minutes of that first half with tries to Solomon and Egan. Makepeace, some great goals from Makepeace, and 12-2 they lead. Just a solitary penalty goal for David Brooks from right in front. But Balmain, really, they haven't looked good. They haven't. Don't remember them making a break, as a matter of fact. Maybe one through Michael Brown around the dummy half area. But North Sydney, their game is really coming together.
That was a very strong try, wasn't it? The second try for North Sydney, and all the year they've just been the benchmark for reserve grade football, haven't they?
They're a great side. They've got so many players of first grade quality in their side. And when you look at Noel Solomon, who is probably yet to make his mark on that first grade side, but is a great second grader, he could be anything, Noel Solomon. He's carving them up out there.
What do you expect him to go on with it in the second half then?
Yeah, I've got no doubt about it. They finished well on top in that first half. They lead 12-2. They probably could have scored a couple more tries. Bartlett put one down in about the 30th minute, and I expect them to win quite well in the end.
OK, thanks very much, Paul. Of course, it's the players who win grand finals. Let's take a look at some who could prove game breakers this afternoon. And final day, and you're watching it live. And of course, we've got the reserve grade grand final right now between North Sydney and Balmain. Let's rejoin our commentary team with Peter Sterling.
And 12 points to 2 in favour of North Sydney. They did it in style the second part of that first half. As the Tiger comes out, the Balmain mascot, the arms in the air. They are behind. They've got some work to do. Gary Smith, the captain of North Sydney, has had a very good first half. And so is the man next to him, David Alexander. As David Brooks brings the Balmain side back out the tunnel. 10 in arrears. There is plenty of try-scoring potential there. I think we will see them use the likes of James Grant, Ian McCann much more in this second half. Chewy Taker on the wings. Well, the first half penalties locked up at 4-all, and the scrums have gone in a similar fashion. See a great sea of colour here once again at the football stadium. A marvellous day here. Very warm out there for the players, but the fans, they're basking in the sunshine. Plenty of red and white, as we would expect. Some patches here of North Sydney support and Balmain support. Austin, the halfback. And there's his opposite man, Mulvihill. Wayne Chisholm shakes the head. They are the defending reserve grade premiers, North Sydney. And Conlon gets play underway. Taken by Baysari, and he does a good job to get outside the 22. Tony, I get the feeling that if Balmain are to get back into this game, they have to be the first point scorers in this second half.
That's particularly important. The way to do that is to control the game, get the field position, good kicking game. Once again, The forwards have to lead the charge, the likes of David Brooks, Derek McVeigh.
Do you agree that maybe they do have to go to the back line a little bit more and use the attacking talents of both Grant and McCann? I'm sorry.
Well, prior to the game, Peter, I was talking to the North Sydney coach, Peter Louis. He felt the strength of the side was in the area you just mentioned. McCann, Phillips, Baysari. He thought they would spread the ball wide and look for opportunities there. Maybe they haven't had the opportunity to. Maybe North Sydney have controlled the game nicely and not allowed that to happen.
Well, a good kick there from the Balmain side. Means that a scrum feed set 15 metres out. Austin feeds 3-2 the scrum line. As Austin throws the dummy, steps off the left foot. Is that a smart game, the young halfback? And North's now getting a roll on. Conlon up from fullback. Gone through a defender. There's the tacklers in the forwards. Gary Smith leading the way for North Sydney with 14. David Brooks, both the captains on top. 17 for the Balmain side. 109 against 89 for Norths. While in the back, Solomon and Makepeace and Baysari. That's a big score for a 5'8". 12 tackles just in front of Mulverhill. And again, Balmain having to do much more defence. Smith had Chisholm on the outside, elected to take the tackle. As Alan Wilson comes in a dummy half, a slow play the ball. It goes back. Conlon was set behind. They drive the ball down. Thorson has to cover some ground to get there. Takes it on about the third bounce. Again met by that wall of North Sydney defence. That's a good kick and a good chase. Parrish hits the blind side. Finale. One of the replacement players on for Balmain. Michael Brown picks up Chewy Taker. Always comes in off his wing in that part of the Balmain area to try and take some pressure off his forwards. As Brown scoots out of dummy half. Centre field. 38 metres out. We'll see one more taken up. And it's done so by Jason Kirkwood. And we'll see the kick now. Michael Brown looking for Parrish. He's wide of the ruck, quite shallow. It's a good kick down. Conlon, he got a good bounce. It sat up nicely for him. Well, it hasn't in the end. Put him under pressure. I thought he'd have gone in and taken on the first bounce, but he let it bounce another couple of times. And James Grant was coming through.
Peter, on that occasion, I think he thought the Balmain defence was in front of the kicker and were offside. Giving himself some time, but that wasn't the case.
Well, he gave himself too much time in the end there. And Caruana comes in. He's lost the football. A chance here. James Grant picks up. Good reaction there from the North Sydney team. That was 22. Alan Wilson did well. Saw that the ball had popped loose. Mulverhill just outside the 22. Balmain set both ways. They come through Kirkwood. A tall, rangy front rower. Does have some ball skills. Finale's the man. Now he's run behind Parrish. The wide ball, McCann, well, that's an unbelievable intercept. He's more or less handed it to him.
Gee, he had to. It was on out there. We were slipping that pass.
We said that Solomon had good hands. Evidence of it there. The ball travelled less than a metre. The pressure off. Chisholm. Big defence front on. Again, Kirkwood involved. David Brooks. Good defence once again. Going low, Danny Stapleton. Bartlett, she's done some work. Offloaded well. Wilson gets one round the back. Good hands from Craig Wilson onto Austin. Caruana a dummy half. They'll look to kick. Back to Solomon. Left footer in. Torpedo punt. But Thorson comes across. Makepeace misses the tackle. Not so Smith. Matt Parrish looking to get play going, pushes the marker off. Chewy Toker, but no support. Now taking a while to get back from the kick. It's a good chase from North Sydney, but Balmain are having to waste one or two tackles. The amount of time it's taken for their big forwards to come back. Finale was the first there. Michael Brown, there's another case in point, looking for a support player. Nobody there. McCann hits the blind side. He's got the man outside him. Goes straight on himself, runs straight over the top of Austin. And that's better play. Last tackle. Looks to the blind. Mulverhill open. Goes across all of them to Parrish. They decide to run it. Baysari kicks it straight into Solomon. Ball bounces back. Knocks on. It's play on. Solomon will score under the post here. Has he got the speed? It's two forwards chasing him. It's certainly got the speed. Well, a little bit of luck there, but Solomon gets across for his second try. Very different to his first one. And Annesley there right on the spot. It was Kirkwood and David Brooks left to chase. 16-2 very early in the second half, and a little bit of luck there for the North Sydney team.
A lot of luck there, Peter. Solomon's come up. We dropped the ball there. Good pressure there from Gary Smith, the captain. He realised the situation. When the ball did bounce back, it could have been dangerous. Loose ball bouncing around base. Ari came up with it. Smith put some heavy defence on the ball, popped out for Solomon, who just careered away Kirkwood, and I think it was Brooks in pursuit.
It certainly was, and Solomon, we knew he had the pace, and it's amazing how many tries are scored in this game of rugby league through kicks. They do come in different shapes and forms, and that one was a little bit different. Kicked straight into the defensive player from the North Sydney team. Luckily there wasn't a knock on, and Solomon had the presence of mind to pick the ball up. He had 70 metres in front of him. He did have a couple of forwards chasing, and he was never going to be troubled. An easy kick here for Makepeace, who really has kicked well today. He's got a 100% record, 2 from 2. This will be 3 from 3. It will be 18 points to 2.
Peter, it was interesting looking at the North Sydney side back downfield. There's plenty of jubilation when that try was scored. A lot of the younger guys thinking that the game is in the bag. Gary Smith pulled them together. A lot of arm waving, finger pointing, just making sure their mind is still on the job. There is still 28 minutes to go in this game, and it is far from in the bag.
There was no doubt that Balmain have to be the next try scorers. I mentioned that early in the second half as Makepeace. Very easy conversion attempt. Moves in, strikes it nicely. Up go the flags. And Balmain, well, they've fallen well behind now. North Sydney now lead 18 points to 2. It's down the Balmain side, 18 points to 2. And Paul Borton, with the form we've seen from North Sydney throughout this season, really does seem an enormous task for Balmain to get back into this game. They've done well to come from 5th.
I think North will go right on with this game now. They're playing some good football. Solomon's having a field day. As Alexander goes straight up the middle. Unfortunately for the Balmain side, that sort of defence hasn't been in vogue all day. There's now Wilson, crook ankle and all, just nearly makes a break, gets to the halfway line. Alan Wilson at dummy half. Back to Austin. Austin puts the kick down. Taken well by Thorson. And runs straight into Caruana. And down he goes with the help from a couple of other North Sydney players there. Finale. North Sydney unbeatable lead, I feel, 18 points to 2. I know it's still a long time to go in the match, but Balmain not doing much when they've got the pill. Brown's been their best player from dummy half. He gets one out. There's another lost ball. Here's another chance. Wilson's gone down. I'll tell you what, I think he's going to score a try. He's got plenty of pace. Over in the corner he goes. Try for the Bears.
Well, there it is. That's the game. Alan Wilson picked up a loose ball. Another mistake. Careered away. Former State of Origin player from New South Wales. Picked him up from Cronulla last year. That's the nail in the coffin.
And it came from a Balmain mistake. Just the lost ball there. I think it was from Stapleton. Wilson picked it up. He had too much pace for McVeigh. He played a bit on the wing last year for Cronulla, and I thought he was always going to score the try. Grant came over a little bit soft in the tackle. I thought he might have done a bit better than that. But Wilson, determination plus in the big one, the grand final. Mulvihill came, Grant came over, but that was a great try to the North Sydney Bears.
Beautiful bit of finishing there from Al Wilson. He had a bit of work to do. He's a strong player, very dedicated player in the hands of Martin Hume, the club conditioner there. A bit tired, and why wouldn't he be? He'd be happy just the same. Tough job there for David Brooks.
He's got to try and rally his troops here. They're 22 down, kick to come. And they're just not doing enough with the ball, Balmain.
And Paulie be looking maybe short-term now, Brooks. Talking about the next set of 6, trying to force a mistake and hopefully come up with some points.
Yeah, miracle. So Makepeace, he's got a very hard one. Just about on the touchline. But he can kick a goal. Saw him kick 8 out of 8 one day at North Sydney Oval against Manly in 2nd grade. Kicked them from all over the park. In he comes to try and make it 24 points to 2. Looks okay. It's gone over. He's a genius. North Sydney 24, Balmain 2. Kelly Egan now makes good metres out from his own line, gets to the 22. The Balmain defence is just about going to fall apart here. 24 points to 2, North Sydney lead. Alfie Langer in the crowd. Got the sunnies on. A few clouds actually coming over the ground. There's a big hit there by McVeigh, and another one has 2 cracks at him. Got the swinging arm in the end, but Chisholm didn't hurt him at all. Wilson now from dummy half once again. Chisholm flat pass out to Hearn. Hearn's done his job since he's come on. He's played very well. Affleck's gone on for the Balmain side, replacing Stapleton, the man who made that mistake a few minutes ago, which gave North another try. Austin puts one over that's been touched by a Balmain player. This is play on for North, and this is 6 to go. Taken well down the wing there by Makepeace. Goes through Caruana out to Austin, onto Alexander. It's a nice tackle there by a flick. Brown over the top with a swinging arm. On to Smith. Great captain's knock by Gary Smith today. McVeigh's hurt his arm for the in that tackle. There was a set play there by North. It's gone astray, but now Solomon looking for a hole up the middle. He's brought down about 18 metres out from the Balmain line. North's looking for more points. They're hungry. Nice kick there by Smith. Taken by Tuhotoko out over the in-goal touch line thing, and this will be a dropout. Tuhotoko thought he was doing the right thing there, but there wasn't a North Sydney player within about 20 metres of him. But under pressure, he just put it out over that white line at the back, which is the in-goal touch line, and this will be a dropout. It's a boomer up to the halfway line. Paul Conlon to bring it back. Right foot step, lifts the leg as he goes into the tackle, and he's brought down about 33 metres out from the Balmain line. Caruana from dummy half, a bumping, bustling run. Brought down by a flick. 24-2 the score. Solomon's calling for the ball out wide, but it's gone left now. Set play, and a tricky one. Conlon down the blind side. Didn't fill the Balmain defence though. Nice tackle by Baysari. Craig Wilson out to Hearn. Hearn turns, look for support. Nice pass back to Alan Wilson. That's not a real good pass though. That's going into touch. He couldn't handle it. Makepeace, and the touch judge has raced in to make a report.
You think this might go against Balmain?
Well, it could do. He's talking to a couple of Balmain players there. John Mulverhill, the halfback. Brooks is there. It looks like he'll let that one go, Annesley. And the scrum to pack, 15 metres out from the Tigers line. Been a great performance by the Bears. They've been the best side all year. But probably they've won it. They're going to win this game mainly through Balmain's errors more than anything. Here's another one. This is a scrum against the feet. That's a great push by the North Sydney forwards. Austin to play the ball, Makepeace at dummy half.
In fact, once again, we'll see the North Sydney side work it in. 1 or 2 rucks in, and then use one of their short plays. Solomon sitting on the blind.
And he's got the ball now. Nice pass out to Conlon. Back to Solomon. He's put that one down on the ground. It's gone back, referee. And as Lee has said, Solomon to play the ball. Makepeace just makes a metre. They set out wide, the North Sydney Bears. Goes through Austin. Cut out pass. Out to Alexander. He's looking on the inside for support. But Brooks is struggling to get him down. He still can't get him down. Alexander to play the ball. Out through Austin once again. Caruana. This could be another try. And Wilson in the corner. Craig Wilson, the lock forward. And the Bears running riot. They've gone berserk. And they're killing the Tigers.
That man deserves a try. Craig Wilson all year. He's been the playmaker for them, creating plenty of opportunities for all of his support runners. This occasion, he throws the dummy and goes in himself. A very happy punch in the air there. Here we see Austin feed it on. Nice hold up there from Caruana. A little dummy from Wilson. Straight to the line, he gets it down nicely. We're going to hear a lot more of Craig Wilson. He's a player with plenty of potential. We might see him in first grade next year, and plenty of people around North Sydney think we might even see him in a representative duties in the years to come.
Yeah, some pretty ordinary defence there by some of the Balmain players, in particular James Grant, who sprinted up out of the line and took no one, left the overlap, and Craig Wilson. There he is. He had a great game for the Bears. And it is a good head, isn't it? They don't mind making it hard for this man, Makepeace, but he just keeps putting them over. And North Sydney now, kick to come. They lead 28 points to 2. This will do Peter Louis, the coach, a lot of good. Tony won it. He's taking over the first grade side next year. This will be a great tonic for them.
What it will give Peter is confidence, and the side confidence, and confidence is something you can never have enough of. It's a big game to get the side up with another victory. They are the defending premiers here today.
Here comes Makepeace. It's that one. He's pushed that one away to the right. So he's only human. And as he waves it away, and the score is North Sydney 28, Balmain 2. Welcome back, North Sydney now leading 28 points to 2, just striking the ball out from their own line. And Peter Sterling, great performance by the Bears, and they could run in a few more points yet with 16 minutes remaining on the clock.
Well, that wouldn't surprise, would it? It has been a disappointing performance from Balmain. But again, you must take your hat off to them. They are the only team in the competition that have come through from 5th spot to contest a grand final. The under-21s, St George and Western Suburbs, were in the top 3. And in first grade, of course, both St George and Brisbane finished in that area as well. So it just shows that the luxury of being in that top 3 really does pay dividends on grand final day. And North Sydney have looked fresher. They've made less mistakes, and they've certainly controlled the game very well, as Thorson brings the ball back outside his own 22. Finale. Continues to work hard. Replacement player on, but he's running into some very strong North Sydney defence there. They haven't let up in the middle of the ruck. We see another 3 and 4 tacklers involved there, forcing a slow play of the ball. Baysari coming in, doing some of the forwards work from 5'8". As Matt Parrish picks up McCann. Good defence once again. They've worked hard, North Sydney, all over the paddock. The man at marker there, George Bartlett's had a wow of a game. Good hands from Brooks to catch that one on the last tackle. The left foot kick, very, very well. Some good skill shown there from the second rower. Disappointing day for him, of course. His last game. It's been one of the good performers for Balmain for many, many years now. As Makepeace tackled, 20 metres out. Caruana does well, picks up 4 or 5 metres. Second man, Tony Hearn, falling to the ground. Now Alexander, partner in crime, got the knee bandaged. But he again has been a good performer. Late in that second half, really busted the line of Balmain on a couple of occasions, and that gave the side plenty of momentum. Solomon scored 2 tries this afternoon, and he's leading the chase down here. Thorson would want to pick this up one pretty shortly. He does so just in time, and does pretty well to beat 2 defenders, but eventually Bartlett comes up with the tackle. Parrish from dummy half. And this is where they do waste some tackles. It takes so long for players to come back, especially late in the game. He's offside, the North Sydney player. Smart work. Caruana was the man at fault, but a very good run from dummy half there by Thorson. Saw that the man hadn't retired the 5 metres, ran straight at him, more or less forced him into making the tackle. Here we go. He sees that Caruana is there. Yeah, dumb piece of play, inexperience. But I don't think it's going to play any major role in the outcome of this game as Balmain go wide. Finale tries to go over the top. Chisholm comes up with the tackle. Well, an enormous advantage in possession for North Sydney. 25 minutes up against 16. That's why we see the scoreline as it does, 28 points to 2. North Sydney a good enough team to take advantage of that mountain of possession. They've run in some class tries out there. Balmain looking to do the same. 46 on is Jason Sinclair. Played most of the year in first grade. David Brooks wrapped up on the blind side on the last tackle. McCann, the high kick. Sinclair was onside. Well taken there. Tremendous take from Paul Conlon. Back to the 22. And really doing it very easily now out there, North Sydney. 28 points to 2. 13 minutes to go. They've got this wrapped up again, and another reserve grade title for the North Sydney side.
Yeah, it should be a very good night down at the North Sydney Den tonight. This game's now slowed down quite markedly. The St George side, the North Sydney side content to just play time out.
Very important for the North Sydney side as well, Tony, with Peter Louis being their coach and the first grade coach next year. This is an enormous opportunity to impress and maybe press for one of those first grade spots at the North Sydney side next year. And there's guys out there who have played well enough here to give you the feeling they will be in first grade in some shape or form next year.
The guys like Solomon, Craig Wilson, the playmakers, need to show in big games like this. As Wayne Chisholm busts through and gives it inside to Dave Alexander. Jason Austin pulled down a great tackle there from a flick.
Well, they may look to run it here on the last tackle. It's gone back through the legs, but they've got numbers out here. Chisholm, a long cut-out pass, no, knocked on there by Mathau. It's gone forward anyway. Annesley ruled that the ball did float forward, and with it being the last tackle, it's a changeover in possession. Mulvihill. No, in fact, that's Affleck. Tackled, centre field, 23 metres out. One of the North Sydney players down the background. Looks like Alexander. Baysari pushes off one player. Makepeace wraps him up. Try and drag him over the sideline, but can't do so as Brooks takes it up. No support once again and runs into that brick wall. Jamie Mathau and Alan Wilson leading the charge. Another good hit there from Craig Wilson. He's had a very good game, and as Tony Ray pointed out, very deserving of that try he scored in the far corner. Plenty of work as Brooks hit with a beauty. That's hurt the North Sydney player as the ball bounces up to Kelly Egan. Good show of confidence in Paul Conlon. Conlon takes it 30 metres. Pushes off one. Got a player on the outside. He's going to go over the sideline.
That was young Matthew Toshak. Nice bit of play. Adventurous play from the North Sydney side. Quite willing to move the ball. Maybe could have stayed in there. First tackle. We see here Toshak running away. Good tackle from David Baysari. Pulls him into touch.
Well, he was always going to go over the sideline. Showed him too much of it as Sinclair steps off the right, back off the left. Keeps the ball alive to Brown, who's broken very well from the scrum. McCann picked up wide. I think we'll see Balmain really throw caution to the wind here. They've got nothing to lose. They need to score points and score them very, very quickly. And they can't do that with settling runs, as we just saw. Parrish trying to initiate something down the blind side. Mulvihill, the flick pass, nice skills. Brooks on to Kirkwood. Again, the scrambling defence of North Sydney up to the task. As Baysari draws the defence. Well met once again. Henry Mathau, he's worked hard, as have all the North Sydney side. Not a great deal of support once again out there. McCann picks up Parrish, who went around, but an ankle tap there from Gary Smith brings him down on the last tackle. Brown runs the football. They've got numbers. Well, he's thrown it to nobody. Picked up by Chewy Taker. Should score in the corner. Will he get through Conlon? No. Great tackle, Paul Conlon, on a very big man.
Well, two big men running into each other there. He's hurt himself, Conlon. He always comes up with a big hit. Here it is, Tui Toka. He's a big guy. Oh, great tackle, Paul Conlon. Bundles him into touch. Plenty of courage in that one. We've seen Tui Toka. You can see the size of him there. He scored a couple of tries in the previous semi-finals through his size and strength. Paul Conlon lays the body on the line.
Yes, no self-preservation at all. And there he is, feeling a little bit sick and sorry, but it was a great tackle. It was a try-saver. And that's the kind of commitment we've seen from the North Sydney team all year. As Austin makes a break up the middle, beats another defender, comes to the fullback Dawson, who tackles him up. Bartlett loomed up in support, as did Solomon. Wasn't able to get the ball away, but they keep it moving now. The run around. Craig Wilson throws a dummy, just went for too much. Parrish takes the intercept. Like touch football out there at the moment. That's Brett Davis. Michael Brown scoots out of dummy half, beats 2-3 defenders. Players down everywhere. Keeps the ball. Ball rolled backward. They have got numbers out to the left if they go that way. They do so. Parrish cuts out Finale, picks up McCann, gets on the outside of Smith. Chewy Toka back in the play once again and gets a good ball away. Mulvihill steps Conlon, but another try-saving tackle there, and Solomon over the top helped out. Entertaining stuff now as Balmain keep it live. Davis, very skillful play with the ball. Sinclair throws 2 or 3 dummies. Will he get there? No. He's thrown the flick back to Michael Brown. He's thrown another flick pass. James Grant. But what about this defence? James Grant finally crosses for Balmain. More flick passes than you've ever seen. Scores under the post, Jamie Grant. It's too little too late. But some entertaining stuff for the crowd, and they did appreciate it.
There's a great bit of football. You pay credit to the defence, but the attack, to their credit, there was always numbers here. As we see Parrish spread it wide to Davis. He flicks it on to Jason Sinclair. Plenty of dummies. Enough defence there. Well, there's a speculator. It's come out to Michael Brown, who charges to the line. He thought he had half a chance. No way. James Grant, little step, Austin slips over, and he's in under the post. Well, entertaining stuff and razzle-dazzle, and they deserve to get a try on the board in the final.
Well, they certainly did, and it shows the ability of some of these young Balmain players. Michael Brown, James Grant off to Hull after this game, joining up with Roy Simmons over there, the new coach at the Hull club. And he'll certainly provide some attacking skills as David Brooks moves in. He hits it nicely. 28 points to 6, 28 points to 8 in favour of North Sydney in reserve grade. And they've got this game well and truly wrapped up, still 20 points difference.
Well, there's 7 minutes to go here, Peter, and I can see that Matt Parridge is really trying to rev up the Balmain side. They mightn't be able to catch up, but they're not going to give in, and they're going to try and get some more points here.
Well, North Sydney will restart play. And Paul Wharton, there has been some good performances from some young players in both teams, but notably in the North Sydney side.
Some very good players there in that North Sydney side, looking towards the big year next year. Carolina, Makepeace, those sort of players. And some of the more experienced old heads like Wayne Chisholm, Gary Smith and Dave Alexander have done their job to perfection today.
Wayne Chisholm, in fact, will announce his retirement after the game, Paul, so it's a fitting farewell to a guy that has been around a long, long time and played some great football.
Yeah, that is a shame that he's retiring. I'm sure he might be coaxed out of retirement because he's a good player, started with Manly, went to South Sydney, had some great years at South and has finished off now with North Sydney. Balmain now, throw the ball out wide, goes through Sinclair. Very skillful play. Look at that pass, genius pass. McCann back inside on Mulvihill. There's space here onto the halfway line. He's brought down, nice tackle from behind there by Craig Wilson. Matt Parrish sends it on through to Affleck. And Affleck's thrown a Dudley straight to Solomon. So North Sydney now come up with the ball. And it's Toshak. Brought down the halfway line. Danny Williams runs some dummy half. North Sydney just trying to close this game down. They lead 28-8. 6 minutes remaining. Craig Wilson plays the ball back through Williams. Gary Smith, short pass on to Josh Stewart. 5th tackle now for the Bears. They will go down the blind side through Solomon. He puts one up. Davis is underneath it, takes it very well. 1 metre out from his own line. Balmain now struggling to get back on side. There's plenty of walkers out there, plenty of blokes with hands on hips. 6 minutes remaining in the match. And they're a well-beaten side. Finale now.
Well, a couple of the Balmain replacements have been impressive since they've gone on. Of course, we all know the talent of Jason Sinclair. He's contributed well. Flick's working hard, and Paul Davis.
Yeah, they're all good players. I like the look of Finale, actually. I've seen him a few times in the reserve grade semis, and he's played very well. 5th tackle for the Tigers. Parrish decides to send it out. Little kick there by Baysari, but it's well taken by Makepeace. And Norths now have got the ball 40 metres out from the Balmain line. Goes through Toshak.
Demi half there, Danny Williams. He's a former Australian schoolboy last year. And a young guy from Woy. Geez, he can tackle. He comes up with some hits. And I feel the stand shaking here at the stadium.
And the game's gone into a bit of a lull now. There's a loose ball on the ground. Annesley's seen a knock on. This will be a scrum.
And the guilty player is also an Australian schoolboy, Josh Stewart from the Manly club, who's come over. A bit enthusiastic there.
Trying to do too much with the ball in the tackle. And it'll be Mulvihill to feed. And out through Davis. Nice right foot step. Well handled there by Paul Conlon. Baysari beats one. Steps back on the inside of Smith. Still going. Looking round now for support. But the support was covered, so he decided not to pass it. Did the right thing. Brown at dummy half, out through Mulvihill. Through Parrish, steps back inside. He had men on the outside. Flick pass into Davis. Straight up the middle he goes. That ball's been knocked down by whom? Looks like a Balmain player. And a scrum to pack. But some enterprising play by the Tigers. Since this man's come on, Davis. He's played very well. He's created some opportunities for the Tigers. I actually thought that came off a North Sydney hand.
Well, it was debatable. There was 2 hands there. I think the Balmain players thought it was off a North Sydney hand. They wanted 6 more tackles. Annesley didn't see it that way, but he was on the spot to his credit. They've come up with a win against their head here, so a little bit of justice.
They've gone down the blind. Tui Taker. He's down the blind side, down that left-hand wing, comes back inside. With cover defence there by North Sydney. A flick goes back the same way. The ball needed to come out wide. We'll probably do that now.
He uses his strength and size well too. Kelly Egan is opposite. He's no small man at all. In fact, he's probably bigger. He's having real troubles containing him.
Here's Davis again. He's carved them up. Brooks down the left-hand side looking for support. North Sydney now 28-8 they lead. They don't want another try on the board for the Tigers. They want to rub it into them. And Brooks has played the ball forward. He can do that, can play the ball in any direction. He's done that, and this will be a drop-out for the North Sydney side. Nice smart play by Brooks. Didn't have the pace to go on with it though.
Well, I think you have to place the ball on the ground first, Paul.
Well, it did hit the ground. You can drop it or kick it in any direction. And he saw that there was no North Sydney defence back there.
He'll be a very disappointed Peter Duffy, the reserve grade coach in the Balmain club. A very thorough man. Prepares his side particularly well. He had high expectations today. They've come up against a crack North Sydney side. The North Sydney side regard themselves as a first grade team. They often talk about, hey, we're not reserve graders, we're first graders. And they've performed like that out here this afternoon.
Davis to play the ball. 32 metres out from the North line. Through Mulvihill. He's seen a gap, but it closed very quickly. North's defence today has been just as impressive as its attack. Brown goes across field. There's the evidence of the defence again.
It has been a great performance from the Bears. The #1 side all year. You still do have to win on the last Sunday in September, Paul. And often when a side is as red-hot a favourites as this side was, the pressure can tell, but to their credit, kept it together nicely through the experience of Smith and company.
Well, Balmain are throwing it around. It's all too late for them, but they're playing some great football the last 10 minutes. And this man Davis has been involved heavily again. Comes down now through Brooks. Nice pass to Kirkwood. He's charging forward, back inside to Grant. He'll score another try, James Grant. North went to sleep there on the inside. Didn't cover that particular area of their defence. 28 points to 12 now. But the game's just about over. 30 seconds remaining. James Grant comes up with 2 late tries for the Tigers. Came out through Brooks onto Kirkwood. James Grant back on the inside. Conlon's there, but a big gap there. Could have put the QE2 through that one, and James Grant goes over.
We've seen Brown shuffle it out. Brooks involved Kirkwood. Nice charge forward. Solomon just couldn't quite tie it up. James Grant, Johnny on the spot for the second time today. Another consolation try. It won't mean much. They'll run away with this North Sydney.
So David Brooks to try and convert the Grant try. Put some respectability into the score. And he comes. Too easy. North Sydney 28, Balmain 14. There won't even be time for a kickoff. There's the siren. And the Bears are happy. 28 points to 14, the final result for North Sydney.
Jason Austin there waving the finger around. Chris Caruana, very enthusiastic guy coming in. Jamie Maddow, Matt Toshak. There's Snozzy. Call him Snozzy, look at the nose on him. Al Wilson from Cronulla.
I'd like to have a full of diamonds, that hooter. It's a beauty.
Paul Conlon there. Very happy, guys. A very united side, this one. Saddam Hussein, they call him Wayne Chisholm.
North Sydney have been the best side all year, and they've proved it today with a comprehensive victory over Balmain. And it's the end of the road for some Balmain players. David Brooks retires, goes out of the game. He's been a Trojan worker, but it's all North Sydney. The glory is theirs. And Peter Louis must be a very, very proud man.
Laurie Nichols, the great Balmain supporter, just consoling the side. They tried very hard. In fact, they've done terrifically well to even be in this grand final. The Newcastle side was rated by many as the side that would play North Sydney in the grand final. We see Chris Caruana just firing up the champagne.
And the champagne's flowing. North Sydney, the 1992 grand final winners. Back with more after the break.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. It's full time in the Reserve Grade Grand Final, and what a terrific triumph for North Sydney. Right now, let's go down to the presentation area with Brad Levy.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you put your hands together for the Reserve Grade Premiers for 1992, the North Sydney Bears. And to make the presentations to the winners and runners-up, I introduce to you former international halfback, of course, played for Australia, New South Wales and Parramatta, Peter Sterling, and with him, Mr. Ron Luckman, the state manager of the Winfield Company. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Sterling.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll agree, a marvellous Reserve Grade Grand Final there and a fitting end to what has been a tremendous season for the North Sydney team. Only losing 2 games all year, they have proven themselves to be the best team in Reserve Grade, and I'm sure it's a marvellous present for their coach Peter Louis to take into next year as the new first grade coach at North Sydney. Had plenty of tremendous players out there, a lot of players with experience, and the man who led the way for them was Gary Smith. Can we please have Gary, the captain of North Sydney, up to accept the trophy?
Too easy.
That was a joke. To the Balmain side, well, fellas, there can only be one winner. Unfortunately, it was us. I'd just like to congratulate David Brooks on a fantastic career, and I'd like you to put your hands together for him, please. And put your hands together for the premiers on the right. Thank you.
Well done, Gary. Congratulations to the North Sydney Bears, and we'd ask all the Bears to come forward and receive their pewters as winners of the 1992 Reserve Grade. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bears. Gary, if you could bring your team forward. Receive your pewters from Peter Sterling and Ron Luckman.
Well, what a great moment for the North Sydney Bears. Gary Smith, I don't think that was probably the most prudent remark to make at that time, too easy. But he's full of confidence and he's done the job. He's got the points on the board, Paul Vorton.
Yeah, he's getting a bit carried away with the emotion of the day. A little bit arrogant there from him, but he's only a bullfed of Queensland like myself, so he just got carried away. But congratulations goes to North Sydney. A great performance by them all year. They've been the best side in Reserve Grade. Some great players there. And players that we're going to... There's Peter Louis. He's the incumbent. Incoming North Sydney first grade coach. And he's got a big year ahead of him. Some of those players are going to go on to big things in this North Sydney side, especially in first grade next year.
A lot of pressure on the coach who takes over from Peter Louis. We're taking over champions who have backed up 2 years in a row.
Yeah, there will be some pressure on that particular coach, whoever it is. They're calling for applications now for that job, and that'll be filled very shortly. But big day for the Bears, and congratulations go to them. They did do it fairly easy in the end. Yeah. The match got a bit scrappy with about 20 minutes to go after North scooted away to a 28 points to 2 lead.
Well, Tony Ray made a very good point. He said they just regard themselves as first graders playing in reserve grade. So that's probably the best way to play football, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was a combination of youth and experience that got them through, with players like Chisholm and Smith in the forwards, and out wide Solomon, who had a great game.
All right, let's join Ray Warren right now with the 2 captains for the toss of the coin.